Welcome to Key Stock and Crypto channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we're back on the stock channel, and the Patreon will be coming this month. And it's coming at the perfect time because, guys, we know on this back half, we're going to be on a roller coaster ride. And right now, we have the banking crisis and the debt ceiling. And as I'm doing this video, we have the Dow down about 500 points. And of course, the mainstream media is saying that it's due to the banking crisis. And guys, we know the banking crisis is all planned. Make sure you go to my main channel, the Crypto Teacher. Watch the video I did on April 2nd. It exposed it all. Now, this article states that Janet Yellen says the U.S. could hit the debt ceiling June 1st. Remember, guys, she came out and said January 19th that we were broke, and she had to pull from government retirement accounts. But we know the debt ceiling is definitely going to get passed, but we also know the United States has to cut back. Everybody's turned away from the West. And then also so many countries moving over to the Yuan and the BRICS nations. Now we have lawmakers led by the Democrats urge the Fed to halt on rate hikes. And guys, we know the Fed is going to continue at least one more time. And we also know the EU is not done yet. And we know this is a global economy ran off the dollar. And we know that the stronger the dollar is, a lot of these emerging market countries take a beating. And that's the reason why they're trying to get off the dollar. Now we have PacWest falls 30% as regional bank stocks slide to new lows. And we know the masses follow the media. And JP Morgan taking over First Republic Bank was all over the national media. So, of course, what's going to happen to the masses? They're going to get scared. They're going to start pulling money out and moving it to these bigger banks. And now you have a game of monopoly. Big bank takes little bank. Now we have Chegg shares drop more than 40% after the customer says ChatGPT is killing his business. And guys, if you know you can't beat them, you join them. So we know that now Chegg has added in AI. And we know Bill Gates has been working on AI software in order to change the whole school system. Eventually, you won't have teachers. The same way in the workforce, you rarely have trainers anymore. It's all software and AI training the actual workers. And the same thing is going to happen when it comes to school. Now, we have Uber revenue beats. And again, guys, this is for the fourth industrial revolution. We know eventually the cars are going to be driverless. Uber, Lyft, Waymo, and we also know drones are going to be delivering a lot of items. Right now, Walmart is stepping up its testing phase. Now we have Pfizer earnings and revenue top expectations. And we know Moderna and Pfizer are going to pump and dump based on the season. And I'm not your financial advice, not financial advice. Please do your own research. But looking at the best stocks to invest in going into this back half, guys, is going to be mainly energy. We know last year we caught a break across the globe. It was nice and warm. We know most likely it won't happen again. So, of course, we have Exxon, Chevron, and Warren Buffett's Occidental. And shopping for necessities, we know Walmart is going to be the winner. And when we look at the geopolitical events, we see the emerging markets are starting to rise. So emerging markets, ETF, one of them, of course, is Vanguard's emerging markets. Now, guys, we had job openings fell more than expected in March to lowest in over 2 years. And who caused that, guys? That's right, the Fed. And we have the World Economic Forum says that 25% of jobs will be disrupted by AI. And guys, we know it's a whole lot more than that. It's all about the machine takeover. And we're starting to see layoff after layoff after layoff. If you look at this list, this is just a few. When you're talking about the regional banks collapsing, we know that's going to hurt small business, and it also is going to hurt employment. Remember, small businesses hire majority of the people, not these big corporations. So guys, you can't forget the goal, the fourth industrial revolution. where the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And then lastly, guys, we're going to go over the actual indicators. We have yield rates pushing down. We have the dollar moving down after it was up earlier this morning. And now also, guys, we have the VIX slightly up. And we know why, because we have Jerome in the house tomorrow. And this is going to be a very, very important meeting. We know he's going to say data dependent, but will he hint that they're going to pause after this rate hike? That's going to be very important. But guys, that's all I have for you. Don't forget to go to the main channel, Crypto Teacher. Get educated. Wake up out of that sleep, because we're going to be in for a wild ride for the rest of this year. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Have a wonderful day.
Is the dollars run at the top done?
Well, I've been writing about financial history for long enough to
That's
remember.
why we asked you that question.
To remember the last time I wrote about this was over 20 years ago. I mean, I've been writing articles about is the dollar's decline upon us since I was in short trousers. And the key here is to recognize that it is pretty hard to displace a reserve currency. It takes time. It's not something that happens gradually then. Suddenly it happens gradually. Now, China's not actually the big challenger. The big challenger over the last 20 years has been the euro. A lot of transactions now take place in the euro, and it's clearly number two. The issue is, can China get into the bronze medal position? And it may, but remember, it's not a convertible currency. So there are two things to watch here, which explain, I think, why this story is back. One, I think the dollar reached a point of strength last year, and it's coming off it, and it'll probably keep coming off it if markets are right about Fed policy. Two, there are lots of new ways to transact in RMB, in Chinese currency. Swap lines from the People's Bank of China, they're new. The Chinese have been doing offshore places where you can trade it in RMB. And finally, let me just mention all the Chinese lending we've seen to emerging markets in the last decade. So I think it's coming, but the idea that it's going to replace the dollar, that is not a story for today, tomorrow. It may not even be a story 20 years from now.
Your point is well taken. You've been talking about it for 20 years, right? It's like the sign in the Irish pub, free beer tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's always today.
Yeah.
So the free beer never comes. But here's the thing. Here's where I would push back a little bit, Neil, is that China is out there, to your point, trying to selling the renminbi, selling its economy, selling it to Africa and Latin America and India. We're not. It feels like we're resting on it. We're always going to be at the top.
Of course. And this is something, again, I've been writing about for a long time. The U.S. is pursuing a fiscal and monetary policy that certainly are not designed to maintain its reserve currency status. And meanwhile, as you say, China's got the hard sell on. You have the president of Brazil in Shanghai a couple of weeks ago talking about a BRICS currency. I'm sure the Chinese wrote the lines for him. But remember, there's a lot of inertia in the international financial system. And so when you just look at raw transactions, look at the data the Bank for International Settlements gathers, or just all the transactions in the world, the dollar has been consistently 80 to 90% of all transactions. And so although there's been something of a shift in its dominance of international reserves, mostly to the advantage of the euro, when it comes to raw transactions, the US dollar is still far, far ahead. So I don't think the Chinese can replace it in a hurry. I think this process is gradual.